What a great movie about family and community and sticking together through it all. So tonight's movie was all about trying to run away from your past and finding yourself and being secure enough to stay in one place. If I had to say one least favorite part, it's going to be when she went to get the permit, because it just underlined that idea of it matters who you know as to whether or not you get things done more quickly. So I never like that that's the case, and I definitely didn't like being reminded of it. So there you go. I think the writer was celebrating how important community is and building a strong neighborhood that supports each other and has each other's back, as well as family connections within that community. My opinion of Jasmine changed through the movie, not actually the movie itself, but Jasmine, when we first met her, I really thought that she was self-centered and just kind of like that very I know what's going on type of person. And she was really kind of down to earth. The other thing that was interesting about Jasmine is she didn't seem to have a specific style of clothes that were her. I mean, obviously the Christmas shirt was hilarious, but just in general, I felt like she did not have a cohesive style. Like say, oh yeah, that's definitely something that she would wear. I did think that the movie was going to be about the mailman at the beginning, so that's one thing that surprised me, I guess. I thought he was going to be one of our leads. Mama obviously was not hurt as bad as she said that she was. Or, I mean, we didn't hear the doctor actually say 6 weeks off of it, right? Because she is walking on it right away, even though they said she was supposed to be off of it. So I would say that is, some misdirection, a gap, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how to put it. And then Jasmine, why would she need to be the co-chair? Caleb knew everything that was going on, so she kind of inserted herself into this thing, but they didn't really need her because there were other people that knew better than her what was happening. I would trade places with the DJ because he's in charge of getting the, getting people excited, and he's the one that kind of keeps the energy up in a party. And I actually was a DJ at a skating rink, so I think that I would enjoy being a DJ, like, in a club situation. So that would seem interesting. I empathized with Sam the least because he just feels like somebody that stirs up drama, and he doesn't, if he really wanted change, he would have approached it in a different way, but instead he was just kind of like all focused on himself and just wanted things to happen the way he wanted them to, and he didn't really care about what the rest of the community wanted. He wanted his restaurant to be the one featured. He was just using the others to try to stir up the drama. Jasmine is mostly dealing with people who were her authority figures as she was growing up, but yet now she's taking care of her grandmother, so she's kind of telling her what to do. Usually the grandmother would be the one that would be more in charge. She kind of is directing everything undercover. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of power dynamics, except for with, the people that resent Jasmine for not being part of the community, that she left. And she's not taking care of her family as her neighbors feel like she should be. This story is unique in that I actually think everyone sees themselves pretty much as they are. They don't seem to be hiding behind any facades. They have a pretty clear picture of who they are and what they stand for. So that's unique in this story. Mama's predicament doesn't feel real at all. She's up walking the very next day. She does not need that wheelchair. She could absolutely still run the jamboree, everything except for going to the events, and Caleb could go to the events. So that was very manipulative of the storyline and not real at all. I wouldn't change anything at all about this ending. It was perfect. I really enjoyed her finding out that her grandmother does actually direct who's Secret Santa, and her buying the ornament was the absolute perfect ornament. I don't know how she found one of mistletoe, but good job, Jasmine. So I wouldn't change anything about the ending. I would not have changed any of the main cast in this movie. The one thing that I would have changed is I don't feel like the extras in the background represent the community. We have extras that are 90% white, and it doesn't feel natural for the location. Now, if they lived in Wisconsin, that could absolutely... Wisconsin? I think Wisconsin. Iowa. If they lived in somewhere else, that could absolutely be true, but it doesn't feel real in Harlem, and that's the one thing that really kind of missed on this movie. I didn't understand the block party scene. They come out and there's nobody there, and then they didn't explain how everybody got there. Like, what brought them in? All of a sudden we were just at nighttime and it was a big party. So I expected them to have to do something to bring them in, or something be said, some line of dialogue that, you know, implied that the people were just on the way late. You know, it felt like it just didn't feel cohesive. That sequence didn't, to me. So I would want to know where the people came from and why was it night so fast. The one thing that was funny about this movie is it kind of reminded me of New in Town, the way that Jasmine used very gobbledygook corporate speak to say what she wanted to have happen.
But I'm here to streamline the workload, to implement changes as needed, to improve and strengthen for maximum effectiveness.
That really made me think of Renee Zellweger in New in Town, because she did the same thing.
I'm here to reconfigure for the initialization of rocket bars.
My favorite quote in the movie is, "What if loose ends are the point?" And I thought that was beautiful, because most people, we like to tie up loose ends. We like to, well, actually, everyone is different, but I am kind of like Jasmine, that I sever. You know, if I do a project and then I walk away, I often never see those people again. You say, oh, we'll keep in touch, and you never keep in touch. I kind of assume that everybody's that way, but maybe that's something that's not everybody, and it's just those of us who do a project and then we leave the project. But I like the idea of what if loose ends are the point, because that means that it's okay to have people from different projects that all you're still connected to. I enjoyed this movie very much. I hope you did too. See you next time. Merry Christmas. All right, let's try and do a thumbnail. This is becoming harder and harder to do.